What's up? Let's try this again. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to this fine Wednesday morning edition of BS with B Hannas. That's me. Good morning, B Hannas. That's me. I call myself Nikki B Hannas on the internet. Do I have audio? Come on. Do I have audio? Nah, man. Shit. The audio problems, man. It plagues me. I got to figure this out. Now it gives me a shitty intro to my Wednesday edition of the podcast. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. This is like I said, I'm Nikki B Hannas. This is my morning show. The premise of this is that I like to get up in the morning and take a nice walk. I walk and I ponder. Then I'll come in here and do some good reading. I'll talk to the people. Attempt to talk to the people. People in the chat. Couple likes. You guys awesome. That means I think I have audio. Do I have it? Yeah, I got audio. Cool. Yeah, the premise of this is that I like to wake up in the morning and take a nice walk. Come in here and read some good shit. Talk to the people. Go lift some weights and then go to work. And I'm loving it. It's a pain in the ass though. YouTube and all these tech people, I suspect they're out to get me. Now I can't prove that. I have no actual evidence for it. But I got this little mixer unit right here. My mics are in. I can hear myself in the cans. It's all plugged in. Everything looks good on the computer. And I load it up to go live on YouTube. And half the time I don't get any audio. It takes me 2 or 3 times to get it. And what that does is it jacks up my whole intro. But that's all right. We got to roll with the punches, and eventually I'll figure it out. And some days that has made me quit. I'll be like, fuck this, not doing it. I'm out, wasting my time. The whole 3 minutes it takes to try it again puts me into a state of triggering. But that's okay. That means I'm too susceptible to being triggered like that. Yeah, the whole premise of this is that I like to try and do some good shit in the morning. If I can do some good stuff every morning, eventually a bunch of good mornings turn into a good week. Good weeks turn into good months turn into good lives. That's what I think. And if I have an inclination to go on, participate in the YouTube talking head sports, or if I want to just be like, yeah, I got music, you can find it at nickybhannas.com or nickybhannas.bandcamp.com or Nikki B Hannas on all streaming services. It's kind of a cool thing as well to have. Yeah, I got a podcast. I like to talk some shit in the mornings. Mostly like to talk about reading and lifting and working. That's the gist of what I talk about. I'm just a dude out here. You can find that at BS with B Hannas on YouTube. I go live sometimes, provided I have audio equipment that functions correctly and that the masters of the universe don't shut me up or shadow ban me. But that's okay. One thing at a time. You can find this at BS with B Hannas on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, and all that. Even though yesterday's episode, when it exported out to the podcast services, 30 seconds. They all upload normally, whether I have a correct title or not. They all upload normally. And yesterday's, which ended up being a pretty good episode, I thought it ended up being pretty good. I was kind of winging it more than usual, but it ended up being pretty good. And I get 30 seconds. Interesting. So I emailed their customer support, and all they really had to say was, re-upload the file. Now, for me to do that, I got to download a YouTube audio and then save it to my computer, re-upload it, and then wait. By the time it's all effective, I'll be like 5 more episodes in. So do I even want to do that? I don't know. But, that's also the price of doing it live. That's the price of doing it how I'm choosing to do it. I could have certainly employed a different scheme in doing this, but I like going live, even though it presents problems. Because right now I have to perform. I'm here to perform. I put myself on camera. Got to do it. And if you're one of the loyal people that have been hanging out with me thus far, there's been a couple of you. Love and appreciate you. This is the learning curve. You get to watch it in full time, real time, live time, dare I say. So that's all. That's the fucking State of the Union, 4 minutes in. I'm going to go right to my readings today because I don't really have a whole lot to talk about. I'm just hammering away. Now, the first one I read today was my man, John Maxwell. His prompt for today was to create a growth environment. And he starts with the classic example. Just as the growth of tropical fish is limited by the size of the aquarium in which they live, you are affected by your environment. That's why it's crucial to create an environment of growth around you. That kind of place should look like this. And he lists a whole bunch of examples of that, which I'm sure many of us have heard before. But, you basically want to surround yourself with people who you can learn, because that facilitates you growing if you have to keep up. You want to stay challenged and not complacent. You want an affirming atmosphere, even though there's a place for criticism. There's a place for hardness. There's a place for, there's a reason men talk shit to each other. there's definitely detrimental, diminishing points of returns on that. Everything doesn't need to be supported and, oh, you did such a good job. Oh, you'll get them next time, Tiger. Maybe I'm just a hard ass and need to figure that out. But, Maxwell knows better than me. You need an affirming atmosphere. You need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to make sure you're around with other people who are growing with you. And you need a willingness to change and learn. Take responsibility for creating an environment of growth for your team members. That also implies the presence of a team. I wouldn't mind having a team. Who wants to be on my team? I'm just playing. Creating an environment of growth. I like to think I did that. I spent about 3 hours yesterday, 3 or 4 hours. I bought another bookshelf. You hear that, EMP? I finally did it. Pulled the trigger. I got the third bookshelf now and fucking stacked it up. And from the moment I unboxed it and built it, as soon as I put it up there, I seen it, man. I had to rearrange all my motherfucking books. I like to collect them. I don't read as many as I have, but fuck, it's so cool just to have a shit ton of them. So now when you walk through the crib, there's like the beginnings of an actual library. I mean, it's got to be between 400 and 500 books down there, dude. It's fucking awesome. And to me, that's an environment of growth. Having my little studio room over here, to me, that's an environment of growth just by being around it. There's an old quote that I heard from someone. It's like, don't trust people who have TVs in every room, but not books in every room. I'd almost, part of me wants to add the asterisk to that. Make sure you got books and a firearm in every room too. But, one thing at a time. I like to collect cool shit. If I can have hundreds of books and a couple dozen guitars and a handful of guns, that's some fucking Renaissance man type shit in my own imaginings. That's what I'm thinking about. I mean, I didn't expect to do that yesterday. I compulsively decided, yep, today's the day. Time to get the bookshelf. Time to do this. This will be my fucking project. So it was great. All things considered, I mean, how did I spend my day yesterday? I woke up and I took a walk and did some good reading. I talked to the people, lifted some weights, went to work, built a bookshelf, reorganized by category, all my books, took another walk, showered, ate some food, and went to sleep. That's a motherfucking good day. Not an exciting day per se, but it's a good day. And I think that's what we should all aim for. In this other reading from today, my man Martin Meadows, 365 Days with Self-Discipline. What's today about? On being specific about your resolutions. Yep. He's got a quote from Neil Strauss. Instead of saying, I'm never going to cheat again, say instead, today, I'm not going to do that thing that makes me feel weak and shameful about myself again. Which is basically the idea of reframing how you talk to yourself. He says, when setting a new resolution, be specific about it, and particularly about the way a certain behavior you want to give up makes you feel. That applies to how I was with my drinking, for sure. When I was drinking all the time, I'm like, man, I'm a piece of shit. And I would really indulge, not even just carry, not even just have or hold or be present with, but I would like lean into the shame of it. And that ended up culminating. So you got to reframe it. And it's not even about the beer at this point. It's about this fucking feeling from it. He gives the example of eating pizza. Well, whatever. We definitely shouldn't eat pizza, but fucking everybody loves pizza. Strategy works the other way too. Instead of saying, I'm going to write 1,000 words a day, say, I'm going to write 1,000 words a day. The activity that makes me feel so energized, creative, and hopeful about the future in which I'm a best-selling author. And that's true. That's true. I find that is very applicable to working out every day. I know the days I don't work out before work, the rare days that I have to go at night instead of the morning, yeah, it jacks my whole shit up. I've internally created the system where it's like I need to work out before work because it fucking gives me energy, dude. If I don't, then it sucks. And that's more or less, that's one of the couple of different facets that go into that behavior, which ultimately, some people like rest days. That's all good. You know what I mean? I don't. I want to work out every day. Simple. Why? Because of how I framed it. Makes me that type of dude. That's important to me to be that type of dude. It gives me energy. I accomplish things before I go to work. And even on the subject of growth environments, I've been at war with myself for a long time about my work environment and whether that's a growth conductive environment or not. But at the end of the day, this is where that dichotomy of outside world versus inside world happens. It's up to me to make sure it's a growth environment And sometimes a growth environment is adversarial in nature, which is what I was saying when it doesn't, it doesn't need to be affirming per se. That could be lazy fucking roommates, or that could be fools that you either work with or work for, depending how you want to look at it. None of that shit really matters though when it comes down to it, because you're there, motherfucker. It's like Mr. Aurelius was saying yesterday. It's either you and the reflection that's the problem, or it's the external thing. So deal with it. Adversarial, relationships and adversarial conditions that oftentimes forces growth out of necessity. Mr. Meadows goes on to say that a more specific, emotionally charged resolution will stick in your mind better, and that will help you keep on going or pause and think before breaking a resolution. That seems to be true to me. That has proven true to me many times over and over again in my life. So cheers to you, Mr. Meadows. What else did I like today? I liked, in the As Bill Sees It, the AA Way of Life Daily Reader. This one's talking about AA in the home. There's a big emphasis within the AA literature about the family and how wives and employers and brothers, sisters, kids, etc. react to the sobering of an alcoholic. The one clip that I liked in this, because this ties in more to everything else as well, not just alcoholism or binge drinking, etc. Because people don't like when you push sobriety. That's okay. I didn't like it either for a long time, mostly because I was ignoring it. I'm like, yeah, I get it. You don't have to drink. But the only people that really talk like that are, I'll leave that alone. It's not my place to say. But Bill says in this excerpt today, unless a new member's family readily expresses a desire to live upon spiritual principles, we think he ought not to urge them. They will change in time. His better behavior will usually convince them far more than his words. Actions talk louder than words, motherfucker. That's basically what that means. No point in listening to the preachings of a hypocrite, which is applicable to everybody. That's not even just an alcoholic thing. That's a tyrannical boss. That's a bad leader. That's, a fucking bad person in a relationship. That's so many things. Actions do speak louder than words, and people, it's like children. My whole life I heard growing up, do what I say, don't do what I do. And there's a certain comedic angle to that. You know what I'm saying? If you're the drunk dude at the bar, just say, don't do what I do. This is good for me, but I don't know which. Well, people emulate. Children especially will emulate. They will always replicate and do what they see acted out, not so much what they're told. And everybody has that voice where we know what's right and wrong. We know what's the right thing to do. We know what the wrong things to do are. We know what is neither. And if it's in between the two, then it probably ain't the right thing. Follow what I say, not what I do. Well, that's not actually how it works. Examples will always speak louder. Having good examples and positive behaviors to emulate or having to catch up, that goes back to what the Maxwell reader was talking about. Being around successful people is going to force you into that. It's the old saying. It's like, what is it? You show me 5 poor people, you'll be the 6th. You show me 5 drunks, you'll be the 6th. You show me 5 losers, you'll be the 6th. You are who you hang out with. Like, that's all real stuff. And ultimately, we are what we do. So if you're around people doing dumb shit, or if you're around people doing good shit, it kind of gives you an inclination. Things my father told me that I always said, yeah, Dad, whatever. He was right. Always ends up being right. It's fascinating. Anyway, time to wrap this one up for today. We're going to go to my man, Norman Vincent Peale. What's he got? July 9th. The positive thinker is a hard-headed, tough-minded, and factual realist. He sees all the difficulties clearly, which is more than can be said for the average negative thinker. But he sees more than difficulties. He tries to see the solutions of those difficulties. So that's what we're out here doing. Finding solutions. That's what I'm doing out here. Live time, real time. Where'd my viewers go? You guys left? That's cool. I'm wrapping up anyway. Yeah, happy Wednesday. This has been a fine Wednesday edition of BS with Hannas. I'm just a dude out here. I make music. Music's more what I like doing than this, but I find enjoyment in this. I'm finding it gives me something productive to do every day. And maybe this shit's helpful. Maybe this shit's useful. Maybe this shit's enjoyable. Maybe it's entertaining. Not really too certain about that. Hopefully I didn't lose audio. I guess I should check the audio one time real quick as I wrap this up. Because like I was saying earlier, I mean, there's a learning curve to the YouTube thing. Easy work, all things considered. It's just cerebral and technical, but still more to it than I would have thought. So let me check the audio before I wrap it up. because I got it. Because there's been a couple times when I've done a whole episode and it cut out halfway through, and that sets me off. But like I said earlier, I'm better off not getting set off. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me on this fine Wednesday morning. This has been a casual talk. Fucking A. You can find this at BS with Hannas on YouTube, BS with Hannas on Spotify podcast, Apple Podcast, Amazon Audible. You can find my music, Heavy Blues Metal, NikkiBHannas.com, NikkiBHannas.bandcamp.com, NikkiBHannas on all streaming services. I'm going to ride this hype train one time as we roll out of here. Happy fucking Wednesday. One love. Get after it. Keep it real. Peace.